Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to begin. Honorable Darrell Vaz, Minister of Science, Energy and Technology, Mr. Jason Fraser, Usaid Jamaica Country Director, and other members of Usaid joining us virtually by streaming. Representative of Cadmus, Ms. Anita Mills, and other representatives from Cadmus who are, I know, with us virtually. Representatives of the University of the West Indies, representatives of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association and other partners. And you will see on the banner in front all the partners to this project. Good morning. We at LASCO are pleased to welcome you to our complex here in White Marl. For those of you who didn't know it, you know it. Unfortunately, because of COVID and physical distancing protocols, we'll not be able to take you around. But in the future, I'm sure we'll have the opportunity to. So we welcome you here to White Marl, St. Catherine, for this, the official launch and signing ceremony of the Jamaica Energy Resilience Alliance for the private sector. We congratulate and thank USAID for their foresight in issuing a call for concepts for strengthening energy sector resilience in Jamaica under their Global Alliance program, and wish to express our appreciation for this significant initiative on behalf of all the beneficiaries, and of course, Jamaica, all the beneficiaries of this project. And these beneficiaries would include the University of the West Indies, Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, solar and battery developers, and many other and suppliers and many others. We acknowledge the benefit to Jamaica on the whole, as it is clearly strategic to adopt more renewable technologies in the context of climate change and the need for energy resilience in times of disruption. And we are prone to having disruptions in Jamaica, natural disasters. We're in the hurricane belt, and very frequently we have hurricane. Fortunately, in the last couple of years, we have been free of them. The process has brought partnerships with the US-based Cadmus Group as project leader, and we look forward to positive outcomes as we work together. For LASCO specifically, under this project, we'll see the installation of a 500 kilowatt PV battery storage system at this very location. And we are particularly grateful to the University of the West Indies, who saw it fit to reach out to us in the early stages of this project to seek and encourage us to get involved. And here I must recognize Professor Anthony Chen, who was the one who made that initial approach to LASCO nearly a year ago. So it has been some time that we have been going through this project. So we are quite keen to be involved, and we are quite keen to make the necessary investments, as going solar will not only provide us with the resilience we need, but will at the same time help to reduce our carbon footprint and the proper use of renewable resources. The system in turn will support important teaching and research objectives at the university, in industry and commerce, and in the community, and will certainly support LASCO's efforts at energy resilience and food security in times of crises. We're also very pleased to be able, through this initiative, to continue to support our neighboring communities. In this instance, with access to electricity generated through the energy storage system to the nearby community center, particularly after disasters or other events that result in power loss from other suppliers. We anticipate success in all project components and reiterate our appreciation to the USAID and the other partners and our full commitment to this most important initiative. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for joining us here this morning for this event. I am pleased to see so many folks. Obviously, we are COVID compliant, but so many folks here this morning, for this event, and we believe that it's an important one, not only for the USAID and public-private partnership that we are putting forth together today, but also for Jamaica more generally. And we're so pleased to have the Honorable Minister Darrell Vaz here, Minister of Science, Energy, and Technology. Thank you so much, Master of Ceremonies, Mr. James Rawle, Managing Director for LASCO. Online, we also have our Acting Deputy Administrator for USAID, John Barcelo, and representatives of the Energy Resilience Global Development Alliance, the representatives from Cadmus Group, of course, and Wigton Wind Farm, WRB Energy, UE, the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association. And then also I want to thank other representatives of the government of Jamaica, and of course all of you, the distinguished participants and guests, members of the media. So good morning and Happy New Year. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here on behalf of the people of the United States of America to participate in the launch of this important Energy Resilience Alliance. Since my arrival to Jamaica back in 2018, energy sector resilience has been a key focus of the US government. And over the last 2 years, we have sought to clarify and to solidify basic research assessments that identify gaps and related solutions. While I take the opportunity to commend the government of Jamaica in its strides that it has made in this sector, we all know that we cannot depend on it alone for the solutions. And today's event is a true testament of the commitment from the private sector and its key stakeholders to help Jamaica achieve the national development goals under Vision 2030. I am proud that as neighbors, partners, and friends, the US government, through the United States Agency for International Development, is partnering with local and international organizations that are committed to helping reduce Jamaica's energy dependence on oil and enhance its resilience to disasters and outside shocks. Local organizations and companies such as LASCO Distributors Limited, the University of the West Indies, the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association know the challenges faced with high cost of electricity and the impact an extended period without electricity can have on operations. Success requires their involvement, and we welcome the opportunity to collaborate with them and with other partners of this alliance. The fluctuation in oil prices and major disruptions in electricity supply can have a devastating impact on economic development in any country. And we've seen that time and time again. That is why this challenge remains a key priority, not just for the government of Jamaica, but also for the US government. The launch today of this Global Development Alliance, involving the national and international organizations, signals the kind of coordinated leadership that is essential if we are to achieve the goals of Vision 2030 and have at least 30% of the electricity generated be generated by renewable energy. So we know that renewables are key to business continuity, and they contribute to a resilient energy sector that's able to bounce back quickly after natural or human shocks, which can drive economic recovery, something we have seen recently with the COVID-19 pandemic, not only in Jamaica, but also throughout the world. As indicated in the first US-Jamaica Strategic Dialogue in December, the US supports Jamaica's enhanced resilience and swift return to economic prosperity. Our support remains steadfast in Jamaica and throughout the Caribbean, and together we will make our communities, our countries, and our region more peaceful, secure, and prosperous. I would like to wish the partners every success in charting a new course that gives the private sector entities the ability to undertake energy projects, and thank all stakeholders from USAID, the Government of Jamaica through the Ministry of Science, Energy, and Technology, CADMIS, the Alliance Partners, Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, Wigton Wind Farms, all of the partners who are here today and who we'll be working with, and having an agreement executed today to fulfill the aspirations of all Jamaicans. I also want to thank my team and my staff at USAID who worked so hard on this Global Development Alliance. Some of them, not all of them could be here today, but many of them are in Washington and many of them are at headquarters here in Jamaica. And I want to thank them for all the work that they have done to help to put this alliance together as well. So thank all of you, and see you later when we have the panel discussion and during the signing ceremony. I want to turn it over now, I believe, to our, Mr. Rawls will manage that process, and then we'll go to our next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fraser, for those remarks. And to move the program right along, we'll have some formal remarks and I think a presentation online. And I'd like to introduce to you Mr. John Barcelo, USAID Acting Deputy Administrator, and he'll be online.
Good morning. Can all of you hear me? Yes. Okay. Thank you so very much. Good morning, everyone. It is a great pleasure to speak with you all today. The United States and the Caribbean are a community with many shared values and interests. What affects one of us affects all of us. We are neighbors, partners, and friends. I myself grew up in Miami, which is a hodgepodge of so many people and cultures from the Caribbean. Growing up, classmates, neighbors, and friends of mine represented just about every country in the Caribbean. I put myself through college working for a cruise line, where I had the opportunity to visit every major port in the Caribbean. I'm proud to say that I had visited Ocho Rios more times than I have fingers on my hands. In many ways, I consider myself a child of the Caribbean. And one of the key lessons I've taken from my upbringing is that the United States and the Caribbean have deep, long-standing ties. Our futures are interwoven, and we make each other better. We are truly neighbors, partners, and friends. USAID has a long record of fruitful collaboration with the people of the Caribbean in order to build prosperity, support vibrant communities, and advance energy resilience in the region. Today's signing ceremony marks a particularly important milestone in our long history of cooperation, as this agreement expands and deepens the promise of renewable energy in Jamaica for the long term. Although I'm joining you virtually today, I truly wish I could be there in person to celebrate the signing of this agreement. Back in 2019, I visited Jamaica and had the opportunity to participate in the signing ceremony for a loan guarantee with Jamaica's National Commercial Bank, which was facilitated by USAID's Development Credit Authority. The loan guarantee aims to encourage more lending to support investments in small and medium businesses, particularly in the energy sector. During that same visit, I initiated a new energy forum, the Public-Private Alliance for Energy Resilience. Both the Public-Private Alliance and the new program that we're recognizing today are critical to Jamaica's future. They're part of our efforts to increase the diversity of Jamaica's energy, to strengthen the resilience of energy systems and infrastructure, and to decrease vulnerability to natural disasters. I also had fruitful discussions with the private sector about disaster resilience and expanding engagement in Jamaica's energy sector, because governments alone cannot carry out all the changes that are needed. More often than not, it is the private sector that owns and operates the infrastructure. Private sector engagement and contributions to energy resilience are vital. Today's signing ceremony is a capstone for our collective efforts to spur crucial renewable energy projects through an extensive alliance with Jamaican and international organizations. Together, we will identify the policy changes needed to enhance the penetration of renewable energy on the island's grid, and we will develop new financing tools for this precise effort. This $4 million 3-year initiative includes a pilot project on solar power and battery storage, as well as worker training for the modern energy sector, all with the goal of increasing overall energy resilience in Jamaica. Led by the Cadmus Group, the partnership will mobilize up to $50 million in investment funds. And this new effort plays an important role in responding to current concerns in Jamaica, including the ongoing economic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. I'd especially like to recognize the efforts of Jamaicans at all levels who are actively collaborating to ensure this project's success and a swift return to prosperity after recent disasters. In addition, I want to commend the government's release of a 20-year blueprint that includes an expansion of resilient and renewable energy. I would also like to highlight how multiple layers of Jamaica's private sector are coming together to provide expertise and financial resources that will make this alliance a success. From small energy firms to one of the largest in the Caribbean, as well as businesses outside the energy sector and a research university, this unifying global development alliance is an exciting feat. This partnership stands on the shoulders of past U.S. energy investments over several years and is only possible because of the close coordination between our local staff in Jamaica, our counterparts at the ministry, and USAID energy experts here in Washington. When the United States and our Caribbean partners work together, we can have a profoundly positive effect on thousands of lives. Together, we can expand economic opportunities, increase resilience to disasters, foster self-reliance, and expand energy opportunities. The energy sector is a crucial element of Jamaica's long-term development and resilience. And our work in the region reflects what those of us with connections to the Caribbean have always known, that we are and always will be neighbors, partners, and friends. Thank you all for your commitment and dedication to this pivotal partnership. We look forward to working closely together over the next several years.
It is now the turn of our Minister of Science, Energy and Technology, our Honorable Daryl Vaz, to bring some remarks. Minister.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Special greetings to Mr. Jason Fraser from the USAID, the chairperson of the function, Mr. Rawl from LASCO, Cadmus representatives, UE representatives, and of course, everybody else that is following us virtually. Let me take the opportunity to wish you all a very happy New Year. Oh, GHTA, my good friend, Mr. Reader. Everybody a happy New Year, but most importantly, a safe New Year, especially in light of the challenges that we are facing by the pandemic. Energy, as many of you are aware, is a global and local priority as it plays an integral role in the development of a country's economy. Jamaica, as a small island developing state, means we are vulnerable to volatility in the external energy market. We're also susceptible to the effects of natural disasters such as hurricanes, earthquakes, which adversely affect our economy and the energy sector. The challenge for us, therefore, is building our resilience so that we can rebound from natural disasters and external price shocks. This new 3-year Energy Resilience Global Development Alliance partnership, the GDA, with the United States Agency of International Development, in association with the Cadmus Group of Boston, valued at $4 million US, will assist in the creation of a resilient and robust energy sector as we enter the decade of growth and development towards the year 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, the energy landscape, both in the region and globally, is experiencing revolutionary transformations. Renewable and other alternative sources of energy are leading the change as the world seeks to find affordable and environmentally friendly energy solutions. As a government, we are cognizant that the renewable energy sources diversify our energy supplies and reduce our dependence on the non-renewable fossil fuels, which will eventually be depleted. Renewables are also cleaner than fossil fuels, emitting fewer greenhouse gases and other air pollutants. Renewables and other clean energy sources will be at the very core of the development of Jamaica's energy sector. Jamaica has been on this journey for more than a decade, and I must say that we have done exceptionally well to increase our share of renewables in the energy mix. The government of Jamaica is significantly invested in renewable energy as it signals the building of a sustainable energy future. As a country, we have taken bold steps to decreasing our dependence on fossil fuels and diversifying our energy sources, especially in our electricity sector. In 2008, petroleum accounted for 95% of the electricity installed capacity, and wind and hydro accounted for 2.4 and 2.6% respectively. We have since introduced natural gas into the energy mix and has pioneered several renewable energy projects, primarily wind and solar technologies. In 2018, 10 years later, our electricity installed capacity shows significant diversity. Petroleum accounted for 74.1%, wind at 10%, hydro 2.8%, natural gas 11.1%, and solar 2%. Ladies and gentlemen, this growth, which we see in the energy, was only possible through strong partnerships with our international stakeholders and partners who have invested heavily in the sector. As such, Jamaica is now a regional leader in the renewable energy, boasting some of the largest solar and wind facilities in the Caribbean, with 20 megawatt content solar, 37 megawatt 8 Rivers facility, in addition to the 62.7 megawatt Wigton Farm and the 36 megawatt BMR wind facilities. Additionally, more than 800 customers of the Jamaica Public Service are licensed to generate electricity using their own renewable sources and selling the excess to JPS under the net billing program. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on our mission to secure Jamaica's energy future through diversification and the provision of alternative, sustainable, and environmentally friendly sources of energy. By 2025, we will be generating approximately 22% of our electricity from renewable sources and well on our way in developing an electric mobility sector. The anticipated impacts result in less vulnerability to external economic shocks, more immunity from the negative effects of geopolitical tensions, reduced energy prices, and 100% electricity access and reduction in the country's carbon footprint. Our eyes are now set on the next tranche of renewable projects, which will move us closer to achieving our target of 30% renewables in electricity generation by 2030. The 2.8 billion investment projections in the electricity generation sector by 2037 aims to achieve 50% of renewable energy in the mix based on the integrated resource plan. For the 5-year target to 2025, Jamaica is targeting 320 megawatts of solar and or wind and 120 megawatts of LNG and 74 megawatts of hydro, waste to energy, and or biomass. Additionally, Cabinet has given approval for the generation procurement entity, which is responsible for undertaking the procurement of new generation projects. The board will have its first meeting shortly, and I will charge them to take effective measures to ensure the procurement is expedited. So, ladies and gentlemen, the GPE is really the key in relation to moving the issue of energy investments forward. And that is mandated by cabinet and legislation, and therefore it will be behoven on me to pressure to make sure that we can get that entity all the support it needs and up and running within the first 6 months of this year. We are on a mission to secure Jamaica's energy future through diversification and the provision of alternative, sustainable, and environmental friendly sources of energy. We could not have transformed our energy landscape without the hardworking stakeholders, both locally and internationally, who have invested in this sector and partnered with the ministry and the government of Jamaica. I do hope that this new partnership will propel us even further as we diversify our energy sector and secure Jamaica's energy future. I thank you and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to deviate a little bit from the program. We're going to have the formal signing, the ceremonial signing of the agreement. And we invite, well, we're all in place from the Usaid, the government of Jamaica, and Cadmus. for his attendance. As we know, he's very busy and has to move on. But the agreement has been signed, and we now move to some formal remarks from Christina Beckelberg, Vice President International Programs, the Cadmus Group. So I invite Christina to come online.
Thank you, Mr. Rawl. I hope everyone can hear me. Good morning. Good morning and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. And first of all, I'd like to express my gratitude and congratulatory wishes to Minister Vaz of MSET, to Usaid Acting Deputy Administrator, Mr. Barca, and to our Alliance Coordinator, NAT Mills, for the ceremonial signing. Again, welcome, good morning, and thank you for joining us at our launch of the Jamaican Energy Resilience Alliance. We're thrilled to have you here, and I'd like to also extend my thank you to LASCO Managing Director and our host, Mr. Rawl, for joining us today. Mr. Vaz, Mr. Fraser, we really appreciate your thoughtful remarks, and thank you for outlining the need and vision for a resilient Jamaica. We are, as said, as the Cadmus Group's Vice President of International Programs and the executive responsible for the Alliance's success, I could not be more thrilled to be here with you today, unfortunately remotely and hopefully next time in person, to launch an innovative effort that will enable Jamaica to become a more distributed and resilient energy economy, as well as create a model that we believe can be applied throughout the region. Over the past decade, the Cadmus Group has led extensive work in Jamaica and across the region to create an enabling environment for investment in the clean energy sector. We have found time and time again that a suite of issues persist. First, the growing frequency and strength of storms and natural hazards have led to a situation where island economies and Jamaica are in a perpetual state of preparing for or recovering from disasters. Second, the power sector is a critical artery in an island economy, and it is vulnerable. Electricity is necessary to ensure a safe, healthy, and prosperous Jamaica. We need reliable, distributed, resilient, and affordable power to prepare for and respond during an emergency. Third, affordability, public awareness, and accessible tools to support decision-making are crucial to enable businesses and households to invest in solar systems or solar plus storage systems. Over the past year, we have worked with USAID and a suite of leading industry partners, many of whom are here, all of whom are here today, to form an alliance that tackles just these issues. Our partners include LASCO, the University of the West Indies, the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, WRB Energy, Wigton Wind Farms, the Rocky Mountain Institute, Exergy Energy, and Green Solutions International. Together, we have designed a program to unlock energy sector investment through the development of distributed solar and battery storage markets. We intend to accomplish this through 4 key program activities. First, under the largest activity of the project, we will conduct wide-scale outreach and awareness efforts targeted at the Jamaican tourism industry and other business sectors, with the goal of helping potential customers understand the benefits and business case for distributed solar and storage, providing them with tools to inform their decision-making, and helping them understand their options and financing solutions for investing in solar or solar plus storage. The Jamaican Hotel and Tourist Association will support outreach and engagement efforts with members in the tourism industry. Our alliance partners, WRB Energy and Wigton Wind Farm, have pledged up to $50 million in available capital to support investment quality projects to the extent demand exists or the extent to which we can aggregate demand through program activities. Second, the Alliance will support the development of a pilot project at the LASCO facility where many of you are gathered today. And hopefully next time we'll be able to tour it and see our live pilot project. Under activities led by our alliance partner, the University of the West Indies, we'll be creating a pilot project that will involve installing a 500 kilowatt solar and battery system as well as monitoring and analyzing the system's performance to inform future project development. We also will install a 10 kilowatt solar and battery project at a community center to provide power supply during emergencies, such as for cell phone charging or other electronic equipment charging. We'll also be mapping other suitable renewable energy sites across the island. Third, our alliance will conduct a regulatory survey to identify key barriers faced by distributed energy developers and installers. We'll work with stakeholders such as the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology, the Office of Utility Regulation, and others to develop resources to make it easier for developers and customers to navigate the regulatory and administrative processes. Finally, our alliance will strengthen workforce capacity by offering accredited trainings to installers for distributed solar and battery storage installations. Alliance partner Green Solutions International will lead these trainings. Our alliance will offer scholarships for disadvantaged students to become NABCEP certified solar and battery system installers. Under these four primary activities, our alliance intends to accelerate the market for distributed solar and storage projects in Jamaica, reducing reliance on centralized energy sources which are especially vulnerable to natural or human-made shocks, while simultaneously accelerating the transition to clean and sustainable energy sources. There are many ways for businesses, installers, the public sector, and nonprofit sectors to work with our alliance to foster a more resilient energy economy in Jamaica. To find out more and learn how to participate, please go to our program website, www.cadmusgroup.com/Jamaica Energy. We look forward to your ideas and collaboration in the months and years ahead. And now, Mr. Fraser, it's over to you to introduce and moderate our panel discussion portion of our program. Thank you.
If we can have our panelists come up to the stage. I think, do we have somebody else online?
Yes, there's supposed to be Robert Blinker
Robert, okay.
online.
Okay, please.
And me, Paul Faith, as well.
Okay, and Paul's there as well. Great. Well, welcome again, everybody, and thank you for participating in this event. A really good event this morning with the Minister of Science, Energy, Technology, our Acting Deputy Administrator for USAID, John Barcelo, also our partners both in Washington and around the country, really, in the United States and here in Jamaica. I want to thank you all for taking the time for participating in this. And we thought, rather than just doing a signing ceremony and all of the, the perfunctory speeches that we normally have at these kinds of events, it'd also be good to just hear a little bit more about, how the partners view the partnership, how they think they can contribute and benefit from the partnership. And so that's one of the reasons why we wanted to have this panel discussion, a very short panel discussion to discuss some of those things. So I'm Jason Fraser again. I'm the country representative for USAID here in Jamaica. And maybe what we can do is just do a quick round of introductions because not everyone here knows each other, but some of you do. And I want to make sure that, we do that. And then I'll have a few questions for each panelist. Actually, probably one or two questions for each panelist, and then we'll wrap it up. So maybe starting here.
I'm Clifton Reeder. I'm the Managing Director for Moon Palace, Jamaica, and also the President of the Jamaica Hotel Association.
Morning, everyone. I'm Michelle Chinlen, Project Manager at Wigton Wind Farm Limited. We're a renewable energy company operating over 16 years, operating the largest renewable energy facility in Jamaica. Some people might be wondering, what does wind energy have to do with this project? But we're really a renewable energy company, so we want to transfer our capacity and expertise operating renewable energy assets with local engineers to benefit your businesses and the private sector in Jamaica through even solar projects or solar with storage.
James Rawle, Managing Director, LASCO.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Tanisha Stevenson. I'm head of the Department of Physics, University of the West Indies, Mona campus.
And can we have our partners online introduce themselves? I think I heard Paul.
Yes, hi, Paul Faith. I'm the chair of this alliance, and I'm a principal with the Cadmus Group.
And Representative Robert Blenker from WRB.
Yes, hi, Robert Blenker, WRB, builders and developers of the first grid-tied solar project in Jamaica. Looking forward to leverage our experience and knowledge and broaden renewables throughout Jamaica.
Great. Well, let me start off with my first question, actually, to Paul Faith, the Alliance Chair and for Cadmus. Paul, in your application to USAID, you described how you think you can reduce the cost of solar and battery installations for businesses in Jamaica. Can you elaborate and tell us more about that?
Yes, can you hear me okay, Jason?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Great. So a key thing that we are looking to do to reduce the cost of solar and battery storage in Jamaica, it replicates programs that we've done in the US and in India. And the basic idea is what's called demand aggregation. And what this essentially does is allow us to achieve economies of scale in the renewable sector. And the idea is basically this: if you imagine there's 100 businesses who want to install a solar system with batteries, if an installer or an investor wants to work on that and with those partners, there would be 100 individual projects that have to be managed, and each of those businesses would pay a relatively high price. They would pay the individual price. But if you then imagine that these are bundled all together, so it's essentially, rather than 100 small deals, it's one big deal. There are economies of scale that, okay, so turn on my graphics, my video. The host stopped it. It says, so I can't turn on my video, unfortunately.
Okay.
So the idea is then, rather than 100 separate programs, start my video. Okay. Can you see me? Okay, now.
We can't see you, Paul, but I think it's more important that we hear you.
Right. That's fine.
We can't work it out. Yeah.
Great. So the idea is that rather than having 100 small projects, each with a relatively high cost, that there's effectively one large project with a cost that's much lower for each of the participants. And if we are, in this case, able to get a bunch of large hotels, which would be big buyers with relatively low costs, bundled with hundreds, possibly, of small and medium-sized businesses, that everybody involved would get a lower cost than what would be available currently in the market. So there would be these varieties of economies of scale that would be present. And additionally, USAID is paying a substantial cost for this program, as the $4 million that has been announced. And USAID will be helping us to offset costs of outreach to hotels and other businesses who are interested in participating in this program. As was mentioned, workforce development to train installers to install solar systems and batteries. USAID will also be supporting the LASCO pilot by providing a matched battery system, so we can learn about how such a system can best be installed in Jamaica and take that learning and apply it to other programs, as well as what we'll be looking at as ways of streamlining administrative processes and related regulations to reduce the cost of administrative burdens and to speed up. All of these efforts will reduce the cost of installations for the installers and for the investors. And in so doing, that cost, lower cost, can be passed on to hotels and other businesses in Jamaica who would be interested in participating. And I'll emphasize again what Christina mentioned. If you're interested in working with us, please go get more information. We have a program brief and a form to sign up to get more information if you're interested in having a system installed, if you're interested in participating in workforce development or participating as an installer. And that's www.cadmusgroup.com/Jamaica Energy. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you very much, Paul, and I do appreciate your comments. And we did finally get your video, so we can see you very clearly.
Hooray.
You're no longer hiding behind there. And it's really interesting because you mentioned working with, large hotels and medium small enterprises. And that's a good sort of segue to the question that I actually have for Clifton as the head of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourism Association. And Clifton, my question is this, what benefits do you think your members will see from participating in the program?
In terms of benefits, I can think of one region that we have in Negril. We always have unstable power in Negril because I lived in Negril for 10 years or so, and almost every month you would have a power cut for up to 2 or 3 hours. And, when you run, especially the small facilities, it becomes uneasy for the guests because they lose their internet, they lose everything that connects them. So the stable power is going to be very, very important. Of course, the cost. As was mentioned before, Negril is the typical fishing village. You have many communities. So if JHTA can get those communities together to work on a program so that there's cost efficiency and each person will benefit, because the batteries in itself will act as a generator, and you won't have to purchase individual generators for each property if you know you can rely on those batteries. So not only on the unit cost of electricity, which in some cases represent from 10 to 20% of your operating cost of a small property. I mean, I just mentioned for my large property, 730 rooms, my electricity bill runs up to 39 million Jamaican dollars per month. That's significant. So if we can, as large hotels, even if we don't save the entire 39 million, but we can get a small percentage of that, and the rest of the communities around us benefit from it, then it would make sense for JHTA to sensitize everybody into being a part of this program.
Thank you. Thank you. That's very, very informative. And I think, when we think about the Jamaica Hotel Association and the hotels in the region, and we know that that's a main driver of economic activity here in Jamaica. So having, diversified sources of energy and being able to defray costs has a really big impact, not only for those organizations and for those businesses, but also downstream as well.
Definitely, because of course, if our costs go down, we could offer lower rates, and we could give more benefits to communities and our employees and things like that.
Right. Thank you so much for that, Clifton. And the next question I have is for Robert Blanker. And Robert, if you can turn on your camera, that'd be great, so we can see you and hear you. And my question is this, and Robert is the CEO of WRB Energy. If a hotel or other business wants to install a solar and battery system through this program, what would a deal like that look like?
Good question. I think this isn't a program for everyone. This is a program for those who might have a higher cost of capital. This is a program for those who might choose to not encumber their balance sheet with the capital cost of installing their own distributed system. And it's definitely a program for in particular, hotels and industrials looking to meet their sustainability goals and touch on that very issue of a more stable power supply, but as importantly, a more stable cost of power. I know that working with our Hotel and Tourism Association in Grenada, as well as in Costa Rica, the variability in the cost of power is as much an issue as the variability in quality of supply. So I'd say it would be, I would encourage everyone who's interested to get in touch with the program. And I think it would be particularly beneficial to those who consume significant amounts of power or whose power requirements are a significant portion of their monthly expenses. We're working closely with our platform companies in Costa Rica and Mexico, where we've perfected a method for deploying a platform of, call it customer-owned systems, and we'll be utilizing that along with our, it's now about 7 years of experience in Jamaica, working in the solar business.
I want to turn now to Michelle, and Michelle already noted that she is representing the country manager for the project manager
Yes,
for Wigton Wind Farms. I give you a promotion.
Yes,
So
country manager.
and obviously, many people know about Wigton and your use of wind power in order to affect company operations. What would you say are the benefits of battery systems coupled with solar and or wind power for company operations and their bottom lines?
Okay, well, this program, as been mentioned before, is really about strengthening resiliency. The hotel and many businesses can't afford, as the Hotel Association said, to have these disruptions or when there's a hurricane to have no power. So we think this is the ideal time to deploy distributed energy with storage to provide that resiliency. Just a few statistics to put it in context, like PV Magazine quotes that large-scale solar levelized costs have decreased 82% since 2010. And Climate Central compiled that battery prices have declined 76% since 2012. So this is really the right time for us to take advantage of where the technology is at and unleash all the benefits for Jamaica. How Wigton can get involved is, as Robert mentioned, sometimes even though the costs are coming down, hotels and businesses, this is not your core business getting into power generation. So we as the private sector energy operators can invest, provide you with the technology so you can benefit from the savings immediately. You just pay us back over time. So we think that these kind of models will work best in Jamaica. In terms of the actual cost savings, we're projecting, say, even like the LASCO, like a 500 kilowatt system with about 250 kilowatt hours of battery, could see about maybe 40% reduction in energy costs over the current grid costs. You could get a payback within less than 6 years, and over 10 years, as I say, you'd be saving 40% of your electricity costs, which would be also beneficial to the hotel sector, where you mentioned 10 to 20% of your costs are electricity. So we see all around benefits for the bottom line for all the clients and participants who are willing to get involved.
And from your experience, what are some of the benefits or not to the grid overall?
Well, distributed energy is good for the grid in that you're producing your energy on site, so you don't have to have the long transmission line losses. So that reduces some costs. Also, in the future, if the regulations are adjusted or changed, we could maybe see some of these entities becoming virtual power producers, so they can even provide ancillary support services to the grid and get compensated, also providing voltage and maybe frequency support to the grid.
Right. Okay, good. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for that.
You're welcome.
It's very appreciated. And just to think about how it actually works on the ground and how it actually can benefit some of the partners who are part of this alliance. Next, I'm going to turn to James Rawle here at LASCO. And obviously, you will be installing the largest private solar and battery storage system in Jamaica as a pilot project through this program. How do you think that will benefit LASCO? first? And are you planning to do more if that pilot works? Not putting you on the spot or anything.
Jason, it's important is that it's a pilot, and we're very aware of that.
Yeah.
So let me give you a little bit of background. We have always been concerned about our carbon footprint.
Mm-hmm.
We have always been concerned about our electricity costs. I would welcome to have a 39 million per month electricity cost. Then I'd be cooking with gas, just so to speak, you know. So we have a cost factor. We have a renewable source. We're looking to improve our resilience. And when this project came to our attention, we analyzed it carefully and committed to doing what is necessary, along with the partners, to not only install and reap some of the benefits, and we heard some of the benefits a while ago, but also to operate as a pilot from which information can flow and learnings can flow to the larger community. It's not all altruistic because there's an economic benefit to doing it. And the battery, PV will certainly reduce our cost.
Right.
And the battery gives us the resilience that we don't have to resort to the external supply when the solar radiation goes down or even at night. We have capacity to run. As you see here, we have a huge complex. Now we have acres of space on top, acres. And so we also have heavy equipment, and we have backup systems for heavy equipment. But we envisage to provide most of our electricity usage in offices, air conditioning, warehouses from the solar source. So we have no doubt that we'll have important learnings from the pilot, and we'll improve as we go forward, and that we will expand progressively. It's a modular system.
Right.
So at any time we can do what we have to do to increase the capacity, generating capacity. For us, it is exciting. We have, as a part of our fundamental strategy, to look at how we use the natural resource. And if we can reduce our carbon footprint, then it's the responsible thing to do. You may know that we are a big extractor of water, and therefore we treat water as probably the most valuable resource that we have. We value it even higher than electricity.
Right.
So we have a culture of looking at our use of natural resources, of looking at using renewables,
Right.
of minimizing waste and things like this, and this fits beautifully in the scheme of things.
Thank you so much, James. I think when we think about this project, we think about it not just as an renewable energy project, but also as a climate project. It's a project that will help Jamaica become more resilient, not only to natural disaster and shocks, but also to the changes in the variety of climate conditions that we find, not only in Jamaica, but throughout the Caribbean and throughout the world, really. So thank you for that. And I think we're really excited about working with all of the partners who are thinking in that same vein about how we can improve the climate adaptation that we're all experiencing. So my last question, last but not least, is to our university partner. And I think it's always important to have university partners as part of a public-private partnership to bring some of that rigor of analysis and learning, not only to the current project, but for future projects, and also engaging with students, who are the future for a lot of these new technologies, into developing new technologies and things like that. So I'm really glad to have Tanisha with us. And my question to you, Tanisha, is UE will be doing a study of optimal sites for renewable energy in Jamaica. Can you tell us how you will do that, actually, and how developers can use it when it's done?
Okay, thank you for that, Sir Fraser. Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. So why do this study? The climate is changing, and for the Caribbean, there's an urgency to respond to the changing climate. And a major response is how we treat with energy. And so something important to us is that we need to transition from fossil fuels, and we need to do so by 2050. That's how urgent it is for us to respond. And another context within which we operate is, as Michelle has said, that the prices are falling. Renewable energies, the solar and the wind costs to use these energies are falling. And so it's a prime time for us to look at how can we identify across Jamaica optimal sites for renewable energy? And two, are there sufficient sites for us to go 100% renewables? We're looking beyond this project. And we're saying, boy, as a country, we really should be targeting, heading for 100% renewable. So that's the why for the project. And how we're going to be doing it is that we're going to be looking at some information sources, your solar radiation, your land use, your contours. And we're going to be considering, what are the plans for development, where we have agricultural lands, where we have protected areas, accessibility. With all of these inputs, we want to be at the end of this project able to say to a developer, the what of it all, here are some optimal locations for the installation of renewable energies. And we think this is crucial for us as a country. It takes us closer to increasing renewable energies in our energy mix and taking us even closer to seeing if we can achieve that 100% renewables.
Right. Well, thank you for that. Now I think that's an exciting part of this partnership as we look towards the future as well as looking at how it's the impact on entities like LASCO, on the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association partners, and mixing with other energy companies who are already doing things on the ground like Wigton and others. We're going to close this panel discussion right now, but I do want to say that to learn more about the Alliance's programs of activities, please do, or on your options for getting them installed, a system installed at your hotel or business, or receive accredited training or participate as an installer, please visit www.cadmusgroup.com/Jamaica Energy. So we're going to close the panel right now. I want to thank all of the panelists for your contributions. It's been a great morning, and have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it on? We have come to the end of a very productive 1 hour, very efficient, and I must commend the people who made up the program that we moved quite well. I'd just like to thank you all for coming. I would like to reiterate our commitment to the effort, the initiatives we're talking about, and to thank Usaid, Cadmus Group, and all the partners in this effort that we're embarking on. We have great hopes that we will reap very good benefits from the exercise. We at LASCO, we're very serious about the program, and we're very serious about the learnings we can get from the program to expand our own facilities, but also to make the learnings available to everyone who needs to. And we're open to collaboration. So I'd just like to thank you all for the participation. Thanks, Jason, for moderating the panel discussion. And thank you all participants and partners for being here this morning. And we look forward to great results. Thank you.